Very good. Very good.
Thank you. We got some couple of difference. I just pulled these two. These are from last year, but I pulled these two out. Someone told me I don't write enough we poems. I write a lot of I poems. I write a lot of he poems. I don't write we poems. I think my wife told me that. She's not here now. It's called Flour and Salt, and I tried to write a we poem, and it turned out to be a he, she poem anyway. Shows you what I know. Flour and Salt. He knew her as well as the bakery he passed each day, the catapult of her lipstick hurtling promises over his walls. September passed like a cricket through a torn screen. Still the weather vane never rang. On their first date, he gave her a small brass owl whose wings opened and closed. In battle, horses often spook and become tangled in the barbed wire. The Ouija board made overtures they both ignored. The crowd pressed its hands to the glass. She continued to wear the owl, though the hooting kept her up nights. The stars inched further apart all winter. It's best not to prune the fuchsias until the last frost has passed. But when she left for California, he resolved to buy his bread elsewhere. This is called peregrination. These get a little imagey and kind of strange, so it's hard to kind of get a rope around them, but that's kind of where my writing's going these days. So, roll down the windows of your psyche and push your bug crusher to the pedal of your steampunk ghost machine. Shed the steel wool halo and the piranha slippers. Let the chain of your pendant throw sparks as it dances across the road with Charlie feathers jangling from the radio like a rockabilly hiccup caught in the throat of a rattler. The road is filled with killers, losers, broken slot machines, and motel bathrooms with no soap. Pick up the girl who burned her wings along the railroad tracks. Like any blessing, she won't stay longer than she has to. Let her tell you about St. Louis and the one-armed trucker. Let her smoke your cigarettes and fall asleep with her boots on the dash. Then, without asking her name, drop her off at the Butane Cafe and watch her light fade into the eye of your gone mirror.
Wow.
I like road poems. I like road poems. I drove across New Mexico once on Route 66. Which is, you know, the interstate has replaced Route 66, but it was the mother road at one time. And I wanted to drive 66 because you have all this space and these ruined gas stations and these ruined motels, these little towns. One guy had a DeSoto out on his front lawn. Well, they don't have lawns, front gravel. And it was fenced in. There was nothing for 100 miles in any direction. We had this fenced in, and it's 1950 DeSoto with a sign for sale. I should have stopped and asked him how much. It was crazy. It was just one of those places with, you know, the bars you pass are like Quonset huts, and it's just crazy. And then there's nothing. Then there's mountains dusted with snow and nothing else for miles and miles and miles. Let's do some smoking in elevators. Let's do that. Am I good on time, Bob? 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Standing on the corner with Red. Red is good at being bad. An old ex-con has learned to live with large parts of his life removed. When you're locked up, he says, it's like they take a part of you. You just make do with what's left. I listen as he talks about getting by on the inside, knowing whom to push and how far, knowing when to lay low and sleepwalk the months away. When they let him out, they told him his heart was bad. He'd need pills, maybe surgery. My ticker's at 40%, he said, but he doesn't seem worried. He's had lots of practice, learning to live with what he can live with and without. This is called Finito. Smoke-filled eyes, trumpets for lungs, the last man on earth walks down the last paved street and grabs the last can of peaches from the last store shelf. He's so hungry he eats every drop of aluminum, then walks home, walks outside and imagines how birds must have combed the back of the skies before everything got blown to hell. He lets his fingers wander through a box of postcards as if each were a page in a history book. Funny, he thinks, how words like hurry and busy and late have no meaning now. He tries to conjure crowds, the smell of sweat and smoke and wet wool, hats, umbrellas, and newspaper ink, a man shouting over the noise, his mouth pushed close to the phone. "I'll be home soon," he says. And from the other end of the line, as if from deep within a mine, comes the answer, "I love you." These are kind of sad. We'll do some funny shit. Tattoo. This is 20 years old. Sorry. Ivory girl faces, painted arms, breasts, backs, legs. So many young girls lined up for the needle. I'd like to kiss them each on the throat and run off singing, but I am sure they would have me jailed. And in 50 years, they will be our grandmothers, sitting quietly on park benches, and we will hear conversations as we have never heard. That's a lovely cobra, Mary Catherine. Not as lovely as your skull-fucked eyeballs. It will be a truly marvelous age. RX. My doctor chain smokes, looks like William S. Burroughs, takes tranquilizers, pats me on the back, and calls me baby as I go to pay. He'd probably prescribe heroin for a head cold. I find out tomorrow. Letter from God to Adam, Eve, and America. Apple pie? Not only did you pick it, you cooked it. Get out.